Good morning, everybody. We switched to English since we have a guest from Holland. I'm Johan Sigel with Greentech.Live, and I'm joined by Wolfgang.
Wolfgang Tunze. I'm a journalist, tech journalist in Germany. I write for major newspapers in Germany and in Switzerland.
And he's basically the best and most acknowledged TV journalist,
perhaps the second best
tech journalist. And he's a dear friend and a great guy. So, Stefan, you are our guest you're in Eindhoven. Where are you today?
Based in Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. Okay.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you. We had a brief call to introduce ourselves and meet you and Georg. And we are very eager to hear from you what sustainability is all about at your company, that is TP Vision, the company behind brands like Philips Television and others. And you also want to talk about the space of the PC monitors. And I'm sure you prepared some interesting insights for us and our audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. Thank you also for the opportunity. I drafted a couple of slides. So after that, maybe we have also time to discuss some questions.
Perfect.
From your side.
Yes, of course. This is an interactive session, so yeah. We'll definitely interact.
Okay. Now to start with, my name is Stefan from Sabben. I'm based in Amsterdam. Our head office is there as well, and I'm responsible for CSR and sustainability for TPV, and one of the entities underneath TPV is TP Vision, and I'll explain you also the logic behind it. If correct, you can see my screen, and maybe it's good to mention TP Vision is part of the TPV technology group. Which has an OBM and an ODM side. So, for example, with ODM, we have different customers like Dell, HP, and Lenovo, and we make for them, let's say, their screens. We are there behind as a manufacturer. I'm responsible for OBM, so that's own brand manufacturing, and there we have different entities. TP Vision is one of them. Basically, TP Vision is responsible for Philips TV and sounds. We are license holder of Royal Philips. AOC International, maybe you are familiar with it as a gamer. We produce AOC and Aegon gaming screens, but also accessories, for example, as keyboards and mouses. And then we have also MMD. And for example, if you have a second screen of Philips monitors, MMD is behind it. And in total, we are a global organization with more than 30,000 people worldwide. We own our own factories in, for example, a couple of mainland China, but also in Brazil, Argentina, Thailand, but also one in Poland. Our headquarters of TP Vision is based in Amsterdam. And we have in Ghent, we have in Europe at least, we have our R&D team. When we go to the next slide, which I already mentioned, I think most of the people, they know Philips, but they don't know TP Vision. That was same counts for me when I was in that hiring process. But we have the license to produce, but also sell Philips televisions for consumers. So that's one part of the pie. We also have Philips. This is the television side, but we also have the professional side, which is, for example, hotel TV. And the last pillar is Philips consumer sounds. For example, when you go to in Germany to MediaMarkt or Saturn and you buy a Philips headphone, for example, of the Go series, that's ours. But also we have Philips sound bars and speakers. So that's very high level what we are doing, our products. So we have then one part is the B2B, but also, of course, the B2C. When it comes to our, let's say, almost brand identity, we can distinguish several pillars. The first one is European design. Second one is immersive experience, intuitively smart, The fourth one is premium build quality, and I will explain a little bit more about that one later on, but you can imagine that we want to have also durable products for our customers. So we want to work also, if possible, with European companies with sustainability also on top of their mind. And the last pillar, which is future-proof. And future-proof means basically that we want to be good citizens in different aspects. And as you can see also on the next slide, is that we made some kind of, let's say, manifesto, also different principles underneath that future-proof pillar, which hopefully also explains a little bit more what we envision with that. The first one is reduce. That almost speaks for itself, but we want to use, for example, less packaging. You will see that also in, for example, the Philips sound products, that we downsized our packaging, but we also want to get rid of styrofoam and less plastics. And of course, it's a step-by-step approach, but this is for us also a good strategy to get a grip on internally. And of course, we will disclose also externally about it. Now, then also reuse. We are looking also for upgradable and modular products. For example, the stands, and maybe everybody has, or most people, they have an iPhone, and iPhone also mentioned that they will not give chargers or headphones anymore because everybody has those things already now. We are also in that process of reinventing almost. Then repair is it's very important also when you, for example, look at the repairability index in France, which will probably also go to other countries in the near future. We want to have products that are in the future also repairable, not of course all components, but repairable by our consumers. So we're working on, for example, repair documentation for TV, and that needs to be finalized at the end of 2025. And then refurbish. So we also want to refurbish products also for other companies or for other clients, for a new owner. Then the next one is recycle. We want to use different materials, but also, for example, bio-based materials that are less harmful for the environment. At the end, maybe to wrap all these things with each other or merge those things, we want to reinvent also our own business model, because our business model is, of course, the classical one with selling new products, but we notice as well from a legislation point of view, but also from a customer perspective, that we have to adjust that business model, which is of course very old, also for our company. As mentioned, new packaging, what you will see as well in the upcoming or this year already, starting from April onwards, is that we will not use the full glossy, full color boxes anymore. That means less inked, that's one thing, but inside you can see also that we are trying, at least for the smaller sizes, not to use styrofoam anymore, so use plastic buffers instead, and we're also looking into new ways to get rid of the styrofoam for the bigger sizes. But at least you see here as well that we only use, let's say, the layout to make a distinction, and also the color scheme will give you also an impression what kind of model you're buying. So less color from the outside and less plastic where possible, and styrofoam from the inside as well. That's what we worked on, let's say, last year or the last months. What we will do in this year, as I mentioned, is a step-by-step approach or introduction of the new eco packaging, not only for TV, but also for sound, which is, for example, a headphone or a soundbar. And then we want to get rid of plastics as well from consumer product packaging by the end of 2024 for the sound products. We're already quite far. I think 90% is already not plastic anymore, what we had before. So we were making good progress, and maybe at the end of 2022 or 2023, we already managed to capture this one. Then it's also maybe good to mention that we're working on, let's say, in between brackets, a green television or audio product with sustainable components. So not only to focus on the packaging, but also of the material where the products are derived from. For example, at the back of a television, there's still recycled plastic or virgin plastic at the back. So we're looking also for ways to introduce and implement bioplastics. Going to the next slide. And this is a little bit of a summary what I already discussed. So at the left side, you can see a snapshot of the new eco packaging that you will see in the shops. In the middle, you can see the, let's say, the premium line, the Fidelio line of headphones, but also of soundbars. And at the right side, you see also the headphones, in this case, for example, one of the Go series. As you can see, it's we downsize the packaging. Inside, we will not use plastics anymore, and around it, there will also be a sleeve. So that's also needed almost to be visible also in the shops. And maybe also interesting to mention, before when you bought a headphone of Philips, there was quite a lot of plastics, like an inner tray of plastics, and we will change that one with a bio pulp or this carton box. I think that's high level, good to mention. This is a slide where you can see some of our European suppliers, but also more partners in our product development. At the left side, you see Kvadrat. It's a Danish company of fabrics, and we are using their fabrics in, for example, the sound bars and the speakers, which are of wool, and we're also working together with them to use recycled wool in the upcoming year or years already in the products. And at the right side, you see a Scottish brand Muirhead. They are a leather producer. They are carbon neutral, and in the near future, also this year already, they will be even carbon positive. And we are using their materials in, for example, power banks, but also the back of an RC, a remote control. And here you see as well, because we discussed more the environmental part, our product side of the spectrum and our company. And here you can see also a couple of NGOs that we partner with. And here you can see also, I think, a good link between technology and innovation, but also the social part of it and the sustainability part of it. For example, Mercy ships, it's a floating hospital ship. They're going to Africa, but also to Asia to help people which they don't have money to get medical attention. And they need also, for example, monitor screens or the bigger displays. And we supported in that sense with that one or with those materials. And maybe also good to mention is the Tinnitus Free Foundation. That's one of our latest partnerships. Tinnitus is basically a beep in your ear. And they do a lot of research on it, but it's not really progressing well, or it's a quite difficult injury. And we are now supporting them also to create awareness. And maybe my next slide before we go to maybe your questions or comments is that we published at the end of January our second CSR and sustainability report of TP Vision, where you can read also more about our Futureproof principles, but also about our innovative products that we have. And you can find it on the tpvision.com website, where we have a separate web page as well when it comes to sustainability. So basically, those were my slides. Maybe I can hand it over to you guys.
Thank you so much, Stefan. Thanks for the presentation and the insights. So, me personally, I'm a Philips TV fan for a long time. We've known the company quite well. We've traveled there. We've met with a lot of people. Some of your tech experts, like Danny Tuck, for example. This is always a highlight for journalists to talk to folks like him. And we love the Ambilight feature. I'm a big fan. My family at home is a fan. Our studio uses it. So overall, big Philips fans. I remember in 2012 or 2013, you launched a product called the EcoNova TV, produced with recycled materials, aluminum frame from whatever. It was a really cool idea, and it was maybe a little too early for the market, but it was at IFA, it was shown everywhere, people talked about it, people wrote about it, we tested it, we had it for a while, and we were big fans, but nothing pretty much happened so far. So the big question is for us as journalists, so will there be another EcoNova somehow? And the brand, I even love the name, EcoNova, television that's a green, has a green Finnish cool style, and this is the right thing to do. So I don't know how long you're with the company, but this has been a really cool idea. What happened?
Well, no, I'm since 2 years, almost 2 years in the company, and I think good what you mentioned as well. We were maybe a little bit before our time. 10 years ago, it was more sustainability was all it's linked with donations and charity, but now it's more integrated in the long-term strategies also of companies. What we did in the past, because we have now our own R&D, what you mentioned as well, also in Ghent with Danny Tuck. And I think also in the upcoming years, you will see also, let's say, a new EcoNova product, not only with the packaging, because that's maybe 10% of the whole emission part, but we're also looking for new eco features on, for example, remote controls, and also of the materials itself. So bioplastics and so on. So we're definitely working on those things.
And a couple of your I don't want to mention the name, but a competitor or another company, they actually announced around, I think CES, they announced TV sets that are actually, the frames are used, they use recycled materials and plastics. You know more about that, Wolfgang, right?
Yeah, it's a Japanese company. Okay, yeah.
So, you have a question for Stefan, I'm sure.
Yeah. When I heard about your Futureproof principles, I've found it sounds very convincing, all the details, but I think it's worthwhile to look a bit deeper into the details. So, for instance, if you think of a TV set, I asked myself, what can be repaired also regarding the costs? I mean, if all the circuitry is connected to a main board, and if it's broken, I wonder if it's worthwhile to repair, or even maybe the screen panel or so. Maybe the power supply can be replaced or something. What's your experience with that? And the other, okay.
Yeah. Now, I think two things. We know, for example, in the past, if, for example, if I lost a cable or a remote control, sometimes you were forced to buy a whole new TV set.
Okay.
And now we also have the legislation that was, I think, introduced in March 2021. Was a European one, and we now also have our spare part web shop. So, for example, a couple of those items you can buy separately, so that will literally downsize the cost for a consumer like me as well. So I think that's an important one to mention. And when it comes to the first question that you had, I think it's an evolving topic, and we're also looking for new materials. We already have recycled plastics in our products, let's say in this case the televisions, but we're also looking for bioplastics. And I think I don't want to make a teaser about it, but I think in the upcoming months we really have a nice project to mention, where we really tackle this issue, not only for us, but which is also an issue for other companies.
I'm curious to learn about energy, the energy consumption issue. So the screens get larger and larger, and I estimate the average size TV that's sold right now is 55 inch or even 65
Yeah.
inch, and the sky is the limit. We have I think it's an 80 inch or something here. This is amazing. But the bottom line is, as far as I understand, and I'm not a super tech expert like Wolfgang, but I'm just a concerned consumer myself. So a large screen consumes a lot more energy than a smaller screen. So overall, what can I do as a, let's say, a customer, a consumer, or a private person? If I want to save energy, do I need to really downsize a little bit, or is there a tweak around that?
Yeah, now of course we have our eco features. When you buy a television, it's sometimes, and when you go to, for example, a shop, it's very sharp. The colors are very bright, sometimes even painful on the eyes, because that's to tease you as well with the best experience. But when you use it as a consumer, I experienced that myself as well. I will lower the brightness of it. It's better for your eye, but it's also better for, let's say, the power consumption. To be fair, because we need, as a consumer, I want to have my Netflix account on it. I want to have a lot of different features on it. That will take more power as well. So we are trying to get a balance between the best experience, but also the most features on it. So that will always be a balance that you have to see, but primarily go to the settings as well to downgrade basically the energy consumption. I think that's one thing. But also one thing that we promise, also mentioned in our sustainability report, is that we want to downsize that energy consumption anyhow with 30% by 2025, because we know it's an issue. That's why, for example, our products are not A anymore, but for example, E or F when it comes to the power consumption. So it's really an issue basically that we are working on.
And maybe I should disable Ambilight, but I love it. It's just so nice.
Yeah.
And I remember Econova didn't have these Econovas didn't have Ambilight, right?
Yeah, that's true. But because I want to say that as well, then you have to switch off Ambilight, but then you have the whole experience. You don't have the experience. And to be honest, it's also better for your eyes, the Ambilight, because then it makes the screen, or at least the surroundings, part of the movie, for example, that you're looking. So it's also in that sense more convenient.
Wolfgang.
So maybe we should also rethink the advertising topics. The industry and also we journalists used to highlight higher and higher peak levels of brightness, and maybe this comes to some level that doesn't make too much sense anymore. This is one thing I just thought about. I have another question regarding the service aspect. Is there a service network that enables you to use local facilities or so? But because if I imagine I have a broken TV set and have to send it abroad or so, this doesn't make too much sense cost-wise also. So
No. But for example, if there is an issue, there's always in the documents, including the television, or it's also on the website. You can call our customer service. They try to troubleshoot with you by phone, or sometimes they're also able to literally come by. If that doesn't work out, then it will be shipped, and then in the meantime you will get another device.
Okay.
So we try to reduce also in that sense the logistics around it.
Okay. Yeah. May I add another question?
Go ahead. Go ahead. You're the Philips. You're the
Okay.
Philips expert.
Now, I have a question that's maybe not so technical regarding the boxes you were talking about, and you highlighted that the current boxes are no longer so colored and with printed stuff. How important is that? I thought that in recycling processes, there's a de-inking process. I think this is the right term. And so I wonder if it makes, or I wonder if there's so much benefit to leave it up. I don't know. So you are the expert. Maybe you can explain a little bit.
Yeah, now I think since last year, we're also using soy ink. So it's already a better one, but in general, we want to downsize the materials that we use, and we want to show customers when they're walking into a shop that we are also, not only maybe from a social perspective, but also from an environmental perspective when it comes to the packaging, we want to differentiate ourselves as well. It's literally one of the 5 pillars, and we want to communicate that as well. So instead of a full glossy colored box, we want to go this way, and I think that's also the future for the whole for the whole sector basically.
Okay.
I just have a brief question regarding, let's say, the commercial markets and your monitor space. So are there any innovation towards, let's say, sustainability, or are there any, let's say, specific inventions for people? We all work a lot from home now, and you mentioned earlier we use multiple screens, and you are building monitors for many well-known brands. So is there like a big innovation out there that's targeted towards the eco-friendly consumer company or worker?
Now we literally have with Philips monitors 2 green monitors. We call them literally green monitors, and they're also the greenest monitors in the market, with less energy consumption, but also, for example, features when it detects if you're there or not. Otherwise, it shuts off. All those features are covered in those products, and I think that's one good to mention, and I can recommend it as well.
Okay, amazing. Too bad we don't have any time left, Wolfgang. We have a lot of questions left.
But
well, Stefan, it was a pleasure having you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We hope to see you in Berlin or in Eindhoven, the development center, or in Amsterdam. Regards to the timing. Too bad. Again, Stefan, thank you so much.
Thank you.